Also, I woke up like around 5 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep, and so decided to have a little early blaze and then practice before I go into the office. But today starts a 48-hour sale for my Kodiak plan, and I was thinking about it and I wanted to just talk about it a little bit. Because it's called Everybody Yoga and I'm fat, people immediately think that it's gonna be a really easy plan or something like that. I personally find to be hilarious. Can we stop for a moment and acknowledge just how really intensely strong fat people can be? Insanely fast, insanely strong, insanely everything, dude. I have seen so many across all different athletic disciplines. I have seen so many fat-bodied, not curvy, not plus size, not whatever, fat-bodied people literally murking it in all different shit. The problem is that that's not what fat people are taught to think. We're taught to think that oh, well, you're fat, so, you're basically a tortoise. Or no, you're like the rhino at the end of Jumanji. All fat people are the rhino at the end of Jumanji. I know y'all know in Jumanji when there's that stampede and then everybody's moving fast except that one rhino at the very end. I love that rhino. That rhino is my spirit animal. Anyway, but so fat people always think no, I'm fat, I can exercise, but I can only do it in certain ways, And then it's okay, I get that because basically spaces that are made for all bodies can tend to just be size phobic as fuck. You go in there, you go into a yoga class with a teacher who's not expecting to see a fat bodied student. They could say some of the most offensive shit, just accidentally. They're not trying to be mean, but they're just you're fat and I've been told to think that fat people are stupid. And then you end up with teachers who make students feel like they're assholes for even walking into the classroom. This is a very real thing, probably happened to you. So the fat people are then taught to think oh, I can't do that. I can't do that thing that the smaller body person is doing. I can't do that. This is what's known colloquially as a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not real. It's just some shit that you told yourself and then it happened because you told yourself. When I first started going to classes, I always wished that because I always felt the teachers were just looking at me extra hard, she probably gonna fuck up. So I'd be really, really self-conscious the whole time and just oh my God, because I was not moving as fast as everybody else. Some shit was impossible. It was just not happening. Especially when I first started going to Vinyasa live classes. First of all, I had been going to Bikram classes before that. These two styles of yoga, really fucking different. I got in Vinyasa classes and I was downward facing dog? What the fuck is this? You want me to step my leg back into a lunge shape? Wrong. And I wasn't going to, beginner yoga classes. I wasn't going to slow classes. I was going to just all levels, Ashtanga, Vinyasa. I think that fat people are taught to think that the only kind of classes that we can go to are those beginner friendly, slow, modification heavy. But the thing that I realized is that I needed to make changes and move in different ways, but that didn't mean that I couldn't still be in the same class that's fast paced. There was no reason to move down to a lower level just because I hadn't done it before. And I always wanted to have a classroom experience where the teacher just wasn't making me feel self-conscious. They didn't make me feel like there was anything wrong. An environment where I could just be the slowest, fattest person and spend most of the class in child's pose and didn't nobody give a fuck about it. I just wanted a space where I could feel normal. And that's what Everybody Yoga on Kodiak is. It's the space where you're normal. So the thing that actually made the big difference for me in my practice when I was able to really start to get shit is when I started practicing at home. And while I did at first just practice the poses that I knew from Bikram, which is a very limited number of poses, I eventually transitioned to taking online classes on Yoga Glow. And the reason that I did that is because of a very specific class. I was extremely apprehensive to do online classes before I did them because I don't like to do shit at home. That's not a thing. I get bored so easily. I became semi-obsessed with this pose that I could not find anywhere on the internet except in this one Yoga Glow class taught by Amyippoliti. The pose was very difficult, but I was like, I'm gonna try this class anyway. It's saying that the class is level 2, but I mean, I'll be alright. I didn't have any yoga props at the time, so I literally was using like books and a dog leash as a strap and just some ratty stuff. And the class was so hard. It was so hard. Like, I was just like, what the actual fuck? How is this happening? It was so challenging. And we were doing all this shit that I'd never done before at all. And I was just like, how is there all this yoga and I didn't even know about it? And Amy does this thing where she'll like show a rep, or she'll show like a couple reps and then you'll do it. So like I would watch her do the reps and I'd be like, I got it. And I start doing it and I'd be like, what the fuck? After one, I'd be like, oh my God, this is so hard. I don't know how I can do this. How can I do this? Then it's like, you have this internal conversation of, how can I do this? And then you realize nobody's here to hear that. Like I'm in this room by myself. So then what's the point of not at least trying? Like, what are you gonna do now? Turn it off and then be all pissy that you didn't do it. Just like be blatantly inactive when you could at least like watch the rest of the class and just get a feel for it. So when there were points where I was just like, I can't fucking do this, I would just like stop and watch. And I would watch the other people who were in the class and I would watch Amy and I would just like see what they were doing. And then I would try it again later. I have taken that class so many times over the years since. Like, I wish I had time to take it today. It's a dope class. It's called A Whole Other Perspective on Yoga Glow. But that class really made me believe in the power of online classes, because the point is not necessarily to do everything perfect. That's not the thing in yoga. The whole idea is to just have an experience. And you just have to put your body into a place where you're cool falling down and you're cool fucking up, because one day, if you do it enough times, you won't fall down and you won't fuck up, and eventually you will be in the shape. It could be years, but it'll happen. The problem isn't that it's not happening. The problem is that we're impatient and we feel like we need immediate results. And we feel like if things don't happen immediately, then it's not worth it. Especially when you're larger bodied, we become impatient because we already are like embarrassed about the size. So that you're like, I'm fucking up, I can't do it. You get into this place of thinking it's not even worth it to try. That's such a dangerous place to be in your life though, when you think it's not even worth it to try. I feel like giving ourselves the chance to try speaks to other parts of our lives, and that whenever you actually give yourself a chance to try in your mat, when you try on your mat, you try in other parts of your life, like plain and simple, point blank. But you have to fall down. You have to fuck up. And sometimes you just sit and watch the instructor for a while, and then eventually you get up and you try it for yourself. But just taking the time and being patient, that's the key. There's a lot of you guys on there doing everybody yoga, and it's really, really exciting to watch your progress and to talk to you guys. It's even wilder to meet you in real life. Everywhere I go to teach, I'll have these people in class who like, I'm watching them through the class and I'm thinking like, yeah, that person does yoga, I see. Chaturanga game on point. And then after class, they'll be like, oh my God, I was so worried to come because I've only ever done your everybody yoga plan on Cody app. It is literally always the person that I would never have guessed that they'd like never been to a live class before. And I'm always like, you're only doing everybody yoga? Damn. So like, there's visual proof. I mean, it is wild, dude. It's crazy to meet so many different kinds of people. There's literally like all bodies of people doing this plan. It's dope. It's actually a really, really cool community of people and a really, really interesting journey, like a communal journey to watch. So anyway, if you want to get in on that, you can go to this link right here and check out the plan. There's a whole bunch of information on there about the plan itself, and all kinds of videos, and all kinds of free resources that you can look at on YouTube to check out and see if you want to buy it. But I mean, I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that you just have to be willing to be patient with yourself, and you have to be willing to like not get it and just be okay with that. Be okay with just trying. I always say this, but asana practice is not synchronized swimming. You don't have to move in time with everyone. You don't have to move at the same pace. Things do get easier. And I also have a lot of like video FAQ about different things that come up while you're doing the plan that are on my YouTube channel. And I never linked that. Anyway, yeah, I think I've rambled about this enough. I don't know. The main idea is not even, I don't really care. I mean, like, buy the plan, don't buy the plan, whatever. That's not the point. I don't think that we should be fearful of shit that's hard. Like, I think that's stupid. That's stupid. And it doesn't have anything to do with any one person. I mean, this is something that I struggle with. Having to say, like, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and I'm going to do something that's way harder than what I'm used to. It's literally why I never go to Pilates, because they're always trying to do a whole bunch of core bullshit that I'm not really trying to do, even though I know that I should, but I'm just like, ugh, I can't with this. Don't be like me in Pilates. Step outside your comfort zone. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna go practice.